All right, so I wanted to explain the strategy and process we have taught our second graders to use when attacking word problems, and give a couple of examples. So here we have taught them to take a bite out of word problems. So each letter, it's an acronym, so each letter stands for an action. So B stands for breaking it down, and we're going to circle the numbers, we're going to box in those actions. I stands for identifying the question, in which we underline it so that we are drawing our attention to what are we being asked to do. Then we try a strategy or two. On the worksheet that I'm going to model with, they were specifically asked to draw a picture and write an equation or the standard algorithm. And then E, explain, so make sure you've written a sentence to explain your answer, and this helps tie in with language when we are responding and answering incomplete sentences. So looking at this worksheet, we have the word problem of Emily read 8 books last week and 10 books this week. How many books did Emily read? So breaking that down, we're going to box in the action that she read, and then circle 8, and then circle 10. So we have drawn attention to the numbers 8 and 10, and we know that her action is that she read. Okay, then we're going to identify that question. How many books did Emily read? So we stopped and we talked about, okay, so she read 8, then she read 10. So the number of books that she read, did it increase or decrease? And the kids were able to say that it increased. So then I asked, what math action do we do to get a bigger number to increase our amount? And they were able to tell me that we were adding. So then we went to drawing a picture. So she read 8 books. So we drew 8 books. And then she read 10 books. So then we drew 10 books. So then we went to writing an equation. Okay, so we started with 8, and then we drew 10 more. Well, that was more, so we added them. And when we count to find how many there are, if we add those two numbers together, we get 18. So then to respond, so here we've broken it down, we've identified the question. Here's our 2 strategies that we tried if we go off of our bite strategy. So now to explain the E, write an answer. So how many books did Emily read? Emily read 18 books. At this point, we're keeping it real simple, just a basic sentence to respond is great. So then let's look at the next one. So it says, our class checked out 20 books from the library. We have read 13 of them. How many books are left to read? So breaking it down, our class checked out 20. We have read 13. Now to identify our question, how many books are left to read? Okay, so now let's try a strategy. So I asked them, okay, so we checked out this amount of books. Okay, we read some, so we had 20 to read. Now we read some of them. Did the number of books that we have to read increase or decrease? Did the amount get smaller or larger? And they were able to identify that it got smaller, it decreased. And so then I asked, well, what math action did we do? We subtracted to get smaller is what they were able to say. So that helped them to kind of wrap their minds around what am I fixing to do. So we then drew our 20 books. So bear with me for just a second while I draw 20 books. All right, so there were our 20 books. So we said, okay, here's our 20 books that we checked out from the library. Okay, so now we've read 13 of them. So am I adding that to the amount of books that I still need to read, or am I going to subtract that? And they were able to identify that we subtract, we're taking it away. So to show that, I'm going to cross them out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I've taken away 13. So then what's remaining is what we still have left to read. So then when we got to write an equation, again, I kind of prompted them through. Okay, so how many did we start with? We started with 20, okay? Then we read 13. So did we, when we were drawing that picture, did we add 13 more or did we subtract? And they said we subtracted them. So we subtracted 13. Okay, so then what was left? What was not crossed out? And they were able to tell me it was 7. So then when we answer that, so at this point we've broken it down, we've identified our question, we've tried 2 strategies. Now we need to explain. So how many books are left to read? We have 7 books left. Okay, and we could expand that left to read. At this point in the year, just kind of trying to keep it basic as we start all these things. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful as I try to explain to you how we are trying to teach our children. This will, become more complex as we get larger numbers, but this is kind of that same process that we go through. We ask them to think about it as a story. What is happening? Picture in your mind. As we give them more strategies and open that up, it'll change a little bit, but this is the very kind of basic of what we're looking for, and I hope it helped. Thanks.